Hello, everyone. We are so excited to have you here today for our Paralegal Certificate Program information session. We are joined by a few of our team members to explain more about this program and how it will benefit you, as well as just a program overview. And we're also going to walk you through how to enroll and how to get started on your new path today. So, as I mentioned, we have a team full of people here to give you the information that you need. My name is Monica Vera. I am the Senior Marketing and Promotions Coordinator for Continuing Education, and I will be moderating today's session. And we're here along with a few team members. I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hello, how are you doing? So my name is Andy Garcia. I'm the Associate Director for Continuing Education, and we'll be discussing a little bit about the paralegal program today.
Thank you, Monica. My name is Guillermo Aviles. I'm Program Manager for Continuing Education, and we're here to serve. Thank you for your time, Monica.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cristina Conway Navarro. I am a local attorney, and I am the instructor of the course.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa Bell, and I am the live course coordinator for the Center for Legal Studies, and we are the provider for the course and the materials. So you'll be hearing from me soon.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So as I mentioned, we have a few people joining us. I would like to mention at this time that the chat is open. So please feel free to add your comments, any questions, and we will be able to see that live and engage with you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in, and we will answer them as it's appropriate throughout the presentation. If you have any, like I mentioned, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them in there. I'm actually going to put in a registration link soon. So please click that registration link so that way you are taken to a page and you can put in your information. We can know that you were here and we can actually contact you if you have any further questions or if you would like to be contacted about further paralegal programs in the future. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our screen. I'm going to start sharing my screen and pull up the presentation. Here we go. So as I mentioned, we're going to have a little bit of an introduction. We're going to have a program overview of the entire Continuing Education Paralegal Certificate Program. We're going to learn a little bit more about our instructor, Ms. Navarro. We're also going to have a career outlook section so you can understand and know what you can do with this certificate. And we're also going to walk you through how to enroll. So first up, just please keep in mind to keep your questions into the comments. That way we are able to answer those in real time. So first up, I'm going to go ahead and give it off to Ms. Navarro. Yes, to Ms. Navarro to just explain what this program offers the students.
Good afternoon again. Yes, my name is Cristina Conway Navarro. This program is tailored to be a once-a-week program on Saturdays. In this 12 weeks, you will be exposed to a lot of information. We don't go too in-depth, but we go pretty deep in the aspect that you will get a thorough understanding of not only the responsibilities, but the duties, the benefits of working in the legal field. You will be better equipped for real-world situations. You will cover material from general knowledge, material when it comes to understanding the branches of government, understanding how they work, checks and balances. Those are things that are generally covered in the initial weeks. And then as we get further along in the course, there is going to be more hands-on in the aspect that you will receive hypothetical situations. You'll have the opportunity to write legal memos, 2 legal memos in fact, and legal memos are important because in a real world situation, working as a paralegal, you will be working under the supervision of an attorney, and that attorney will, on occasion, more often than on occasion, quite honestly, frequently ask you to write a memo regarding a case. And so this is going to give you an opportunity to be able to do that. And as I always tell my students, this is the place to make your mistakes. This is the place to get a better understanding. I want that when you're done with this course, that you're best prepared to go out there and to understand what you're doing. So this is a judgment-free zone in the sense that this is the place to get your hands dirty, try your very best, and of course I provide critique and ways that you can build upon your current skills and of course enhance those skills. Following the legal memos at the end, you write an appellate brief, and an appellate brief is a skill, to be quite honest, that not many paralegals know very well, and not many attorneys know very well. So the fact that you have an opportunity to write an appellate brief here within this course is going to make you very marketable once you get out into the workforce. And so the course does have exams along the way. But we are I'm hoping, since this is going to be the first time that I offer this class or I teach this class in a completely Zoom setting, we interact with each other. It's a very engaging course, and I will always make myself available to you in the event that you have any questions, any concerns. I'm here to help you along the way, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and move on in our presentation. So as we mentioned, just for those of you that are just joining us, I noticed we have a couple more. We are talking about our Paralegal Certificate Program, and this is an information session. So we're going to actually hand it off to our Associate Director, Andy Garcia, to tell us a little bit about the delivery of this course and what to expect with this online Zoom session.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Monica. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and briefly just discuss from the UTRGV continuing education, and because we, as discussed before, we do collaborate with the Center for Legal Studies, which is with Lisa Bell's organization to offer this course. So as it pertains to UTRGV continuing education, there is a synchronous virtual classroom that's going to be developed. So as Ms. Navarro was talking about, you're going to be able to interact directly with her as an instructor, and as well as your classmates directly online via Zoom. So one of the great things that I need to mention about this synchronous learning is that synchronous learning just refers to the aspect that there's still that two-way communication. There's still a form of discussion that can be made between you and the instructor, and you're able to learn in a two-way type of setting as opposed to a self-paced course, right? So now with the growing need for being able to educate individuals online, it's a little bit more of a tested technology. We've utilized this before for many of our classes, and it works very well for a lot of the participants that we've used it for. So one thing to note on this is, I know that there might be quite a few people out there that might not have the capability to attend online, whether it be technology issues, whether it be Wi-Fi concerns that you don't have access to the internet, or whether it even be, we completely understand that some individuals and some participants might have kids at home and or family members that might make it difficult to concentrate during the class. So we do make our McAllen teaching site here at next to La Plaza Mall in McAllen, Texas, available for anybody that would like to attend in person. Of course, one thing to note is that Ms. Navarro will be teaching directly online. So what we would do is when you would show up, we would have the room connected on Zoom, and you would interact directly from our class setting here. So that way we take care of any type of technology issues that you might have, as well as any type of distractions that could have been present at your households, right? So that's one of the great benefits of working with our program. We really provide all the different types of tools and necessary, as well as the different types of accommodations necessary to make sure that you're successful when you're completing this class. So aside from that, I'll kind of steer away from the weekly assignment deadlines to stay on track, because Ms. Navarro already kind of told you about that. A lot of that information will be directly worked with Ms. Navarro herself. And just to note, this is designed for busy adult learners. And what that means is, we understand here at UTRGV Continuing Education that a lot of people have jobs. They have jobs that they have to work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's very common. Some people have to work after hours too, and we understand that. So we want to try to remove the barriers that are involved in the educational process to make sure that you have the access to this education as quickly as possible to be able to obtain a new credential, a new set of skill sets to enter the workforce, right? So the great thing about this program is that it's offered on Saturday, as Ms. Navarro was talking about. So the great thing about that is that, there's no more, working around schedules during the work week to try to maintain your education and your work style and your work life at the same time. So that's one of the great things about it. And the awesome thing about it is that, unlike most organizations, UTRGV McAllen Teaching Site is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays as well. So we always have a staff member accessible to help anybody that's even wanting to come directly to the McAllen Teaching Site, like we were discussing. So we always have those resources available for you as a participant, and we want to make sure that you're successful with these resources. And speaking of resources, those are some of the things that we also consider. There are video and printed tutorials. I'll really kind of bring this over to Lisa's side right now. I just want to focus on the things that Continuing Ed has to talk about specifically, which is ongoing administrative support on our end. Like I said, here at the McAllen Teaching Site, we do provide those support mechanisms. We have staff members on site, so anytime that you need something printed for class, or you might need an assistance getting on Zoom, or even if you're at home and you have trouble trying to get on Zoom, we also have the technical support that's available at our office. And later on in this presentation, Monica will be sharing that contact information with you, our phone number and email. So we'll always be available by phone on Saturday when you're actually taking the class. So if you have any type of technical issues using Zoom, you're always more than welcome to give us a call. And of course, beyond UTRGV Continuing Education, our collaborations are very, very important to us. So the Center for Legal Studies really brings a great type of curriculum, as well as a support types of support and technical assistance when it comes to the class itself. So having said that, when it comes to the content and any type of content that you're going to be accessing directly online through CLS, as well as this required 80% time inside of the classroom, I'll go ahead and pass that on to Lisa, so that way she can discuss that a little bit more and kind of educate everybody on the processes behind that.
Sorry, I was muted. Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa. I introduced myself earlier, and thank you, Andy. The 80% of live lecture class time via Zoom. So you're not having to actually go to campus. So if you can't make it to campus, that's okay. And Andy already explained what could happen if you don't have those resources at home. But you do need to be present on Zoom during 80% or more minimum of the live Zoom meetings. The reason why is because part of the experience that we're wanting you to have when you take this live lecture course is the interaction. So if something does come up, if somebody falls ill, you let me know. We'll talk about it. We can go from there. I'm willing to work with people, but we do have an expectation that each and every single student will attend at least 80% or more of the live lecture on Zoom class time. We will be recording the sessions. We record the sessions. So if something does come up, if your internet goes down for just a moment, if it goes down for an hour, you will be able to actually access the recording. So that's not something that you should be concerned with. If something happens and your internet goes down, you lose power, that you're going to mess up your attendance, you'd let us know as soon as you're back up and running. And as soon as you can watch the recording, you would watch the recording and be all caught up. One of the things that I love about our courses is that our instructors are very experienced. Ms. Navarro has been an instructor with us for, I want to say 6 years now. And she's taught several of our courses online and live. So she's familiar with both our learning management system as well as our course, the curriculum. She's very much a pro at the curriculum. Her students are always very happy. They're very successful. She's been a very good instructor, and I'm really, really glad to have her. And you are really going to be glad to have her as well. One other thing about the 80% attendance, I did want to mention, in case you had any, it's about 16 hours. So each of these sessions is going to be 7 hours long. So it's just a little over 2 sessions you could potentially miss. And Any more than that, again, if there's, there's a circumstance, you would let us know. You would let Andy know, you let myself know, let Christina know, and we can talk to you about that. But we do expect you to miss no more than those 16 hours for the entirety of the course. You are expected to get a 70% or better on all of your assignments. If you fail to do that, you have to retake that assignment. If you need to retake a test, you go to Miss Conway or Miss Navarro, and she's going to open up a test for you. Their tests are going to be taken in our learning management system, which is Moodle. And if you're not familiar with it, that's okay. Before we actually start the course, I'm going to send you all an orientation invite, and you'll be able to practice your login, look around the learning management system, see where you're going to find Zoom meetings, where you're going to take your tests and all of that. And at that point, you'll be able to ask me additional questions. But you'll definitely be prepared. And I'm there the morning the course begins. Mr. Garcia has already told me, he has tech support available as well. So you're going to be in good hands. But you have to get 70% or better. If you fail to, you have a retake. If you fail to get 70% or better on a writing assignment, then you'll have to revise that. And when Ms. Navarro gives you back your memo and says this isn't passing, you have to get 70% or better, these are the corrections you have to make, then you'll see the revisions you need to make, or make the revisions, turn it in. And you get 3 attempts at each assignment. So there's going to be 6 tests. There's going to be 3 writing assignments. You have 3 attempts to get 70% or better on all of those. If you fail to, unfortunately, you would not be able to pass the class. However, we have a very high success rate. One of the reasons why is because we do give you these 3 opportunities to complete these courses or these assignments and these writing assignments and tests successfully. And also because you will get feedback from your instructor. If you go to your instructor and say, I'm not clear on this, I didn't understand this, your instructor, Miss Navarro, will make recommendations on, okay, maybe you should go back and do the required reading for this lesson. And once you do that, try it again. So we do have a very high success rate. We want you to be successful. We're there for you. Your instructor's there for you. And the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Sounds like they're going to be there for you too. So I'm excited about this. And I think that's it.
Thank you very much. I noticed that we had a couple of sign-ins from Miss Laura Yambe and Miss Julia Lazo. So thank you so much for signing in. Those of you that are watching and haven't signed in yet, go ahead and send that information so we can give you a quick shout out. And so that way we're able to send you the information that you're seeing here in this information session. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Now that we did learn a little bit about when it's offered, this is just the overview and schedule. So it is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. as mentioned on Saturdays, starting February 27th. So it's a little under a month from launching this class. Of course, there's no class on March 20th and April 3rd, but just keep in mind that it is starting pretty soon, and the classes, if I'm not mistaken, are filling up a little bit. So if you want to get your registration in as soon as possible, that would be very much appreciated. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide, which is to learn a little bit more about our instructor, Miss Navarro. So I'm actually going to stop sharing the screen because instead of reading the biography, we have her live and on Zoom. So here we go. Miss Navarro.
Hi, good afternoon again, everyone. So just a little bit more about me. I am local. I am from the area. I was born in McAllen, grew up in Rio Grande City. As my biography mentions there, give me one second. As my biography mentions, I went to school at A&M Kingsville, went to law school at Texas Tech, and I currently practice here in McAllen. My legal career focuses mostly on criminal defense. I worked for the County of Hidalgo for close to 5 years as a public defender, and now I continue the line of public defense as an assistant federal public defender for the McAllen office. I've been there since 2017. I'm very passionate about the law. Of course, my knowledge about the law is not limited to just criminal defense. In fact, prior to coming back home to the Valley, I was living in Nashville, Tennessee for a number of years, And over there, I taught for 2 different colleges, and I taught different classes. I taught criminal law, I taught contracts and legal writing and research. So I have a number of years as a legal educator under my belt. My philosophy is that the classroom is your place to explore and to make your mistakes and to grow and to get better. So that way, when you go out into the real world, if you will, you'll be best prepared and you won't be making those mistakes. So as I mentioned before in this live stream, it's a judgment-free zone. I want you all to feel comfortable to email me, to reach out to me. I try my very best to get back to you quickly. I understand fully that life is very busy. I've worked with all sorts of students from all sorts of backgrounds, students that are right out of high school, students that are coming back to school later in life. And so I try my best to cater to everybody's needs, because I fully understand that everybody has different backgrounds and is coming from different experiences in their lives. So again, I just really hope that you feel comfortable enough to learn and to grow with me in the classroom. And I'm really looking forward to each and every one of you. I have been teaching this particular course since, I believe, 2015. And so I'm quite familiar with the material, but I also try to find new and interesting ways to keep the classroom innovative and exciting. I understand also that Saturday 8 to 5 seems pretty daunting, but I promise that you'll find the experience, or I hope that you'll find it to be a wonderful educational experience, and that you'll finish the course feeling like it was well worth it, and you'll feel your hard work pays off. And I'll help you even beyond that. If you need help in the future with a resume being reviewed, or I also provide in the course skills for interviewing and whatnot, so that you really are prepared, or you feel a little bit best prepared when the course is over. So again, looking forward to each and every one of you. That's a little bit about me.
Thank you very much for that. So we currently have it. I think that it is a good segue, because you mentioned that there's a lot of different things to do with this particular program. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the presentation back up, and just kind of, if Miss Christina or Lisa, if y'all would like to touch a little bit about what different industries, or what the career outlook of a paralegal is.
Well, I don't mind stepping in just a little bit, and then if Lisa wants to add something. Using the certificate or working as a paralegal is a term that is synonymous with a legal assistant, and the role of a legal assistant or a paralegal, is found in so many spectrums of the legal field. We have, of course, paralegals that work in a private firm setting, as it mentions here on this slide, a law firm where there is the partner or the associate attorney, and the legal assistant or the paralegal is the one who can do a spectrum of duties. Some legal assistants and some paralegals work more in an administrative role, in the sense that they are helping with the scheduling, phone calls, things of that nature. And then there are some that are very, very hands-on, that are analyzing, looking up case law, looking up researching in the library, researching online to find a case that would be pertinent to maybe one of the cases that's open in the law firm. So that's a private setting. There can also be assistants or legal assistants or paralegals working for the government. If you work for the city, if you work for the county, work at the district clerk's office or the county clerk's office, and you're the one that's filing documents, that is also the role of the paralegal. So it's not just limited to I'm in a law firm, or I work just for this one particular attorney. And even there's something for everyone. If you want to work on a more one-on-one, you might work in a small law firm, or if you are interested in getting your hands on bigger corporate cases, you might be working for big law. So it just varies. Working for the government, I work for the government. We have in our office alone, we have, I believe, like 6 paralegals, and they are the ones that, every paralegal, of course, every setting is going to be different. Every paralegal is assigned to maybe 3 or 4 attorneys. And so they're responsible for making sure that the docket is in order, or that their calendar is in order, the docket's in order, filing documents, whether it's a motion, whether it's a memo, there's never really a dull moment as a paralegal. You do work very closely with the attorney. In the course, you learn about the unauthorized practice of law, which basically means that a paralegal does not practice law. A paralegal does not stand before a judge. A paralegal does not make legal argument. But also very exciting is that what a paralegal writes down, the writing of a paralegal, sometimes is what the attorney will present to a judge, and that's very important. But as the slide mentions here, banks, schools, courts, government, any person, regardless truly of the title, whether it's paralegal or legal assistant, who's working and doing any sort of legal discovery, legal findings, they are essentially doing the role of a paralegal. And that is going to take the knowledge of understanding how the courts work, how the court systems work, how filing works, so on and so forth. So having that foundation is really, really important. So having the certificate will open up many doors for you. And I don't want you to think that you just have to work in one area. I just have to work for my uncle who's an attorney and I have to work for him. No, that's not how that's going to be. And I'm more than happy to help you explore those options as we get closer to closing out the course. I'm not sure if Lisa wants to add anything.
I believe you're muted, Miss Lisa. No, still can't hear you. No. I think there, maybe, possibly.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, great. It just keeps remuting me. Probably something on my computer. So thank you, Ms. Navarro. That was excellent. That was everything that we tell students, and it was great. That was absolutely true. And we have a ton of HR departments that seek paralegal skill sets. So we have them come to us. They send their HR associates. They just hired us so they can learn the paralegal skill set. And when they're hiring, a lot of times they're looking for paralegal skill sets. Hospitals, the legal department. So legal departments in lots of different types of situations. I know Christina talked about the government organizations, and they're huge employers of our students too, sending their students to us to get their certificates, looking to us when they want to hire. So we do have a ton of different industries. Almost every industry out there has a need for somebody with the paralegal skill set. It won't always be advertised as a paralegal, but part of what Christina will go over with you is some of the opportunities that may be out there where they're not saying the words paralegal. Like she said, legal assistant. There's all different types of functions in a law firm, in a legal department, where that skill set is incredibly important, and it makes you very competitive and very valuable to these employers. The Center for Legal Studies does have a careers page on their website. Once the course gets started, I'll make sure you all know where to find it. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. Right now, it's a little light because of COVID. Once the vaccine and everything starts to progress a little bit more, and more employers are feeling more confident that they can hire new hires and have them in the office and work next to them while they're training them, you're going to see that those pages pick up. Is there a ton in your area? There's a lot of opportunity in your area. And again, Ms. Navarro can go over a lot of different places where to look in your area. The Center for Legal Studies is a nationwide company. So we have students all over the world, honestly. We have schools all over the country, from Alaska, Hawaii, Florida, New York, all over the country. And schools, students in again, we have students even in Japan that take this course through various schools around the country. But because of that, we're not able to provide a lot of feedback to your specific job market. But Ms. Navarro has been working in that area for a long time. She's got a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge. And a lot of people will find if they're already employed, once they receive the certificate, there's a lot of doors within their employer, within the company that they work for, that are opening up to them because they've learned a lot of different, very transferable skills. The skills are incredibly transferable, and you're going to see that it takes you in a lot of directions, not just as a paralegal in a law firm. In terms of banks, that's another thing. Banks, a lot of times they'll have a lot of compliance issues that they have to get around just for, say, a wire transfer, things like that. So a lot of times they'll have to have somebody with this paralegal skill set. Sometimes they'll call them paralegals, other times they won't. But it looks like the slide that's up here right now is illustrating everything beautifully. But even outside of all of that, there's opportunities for you once you have the paralegal skill set because it is so transferable.
Thank you. And that actually touches on what we teach, not only for paralegal, but for all our courses, that it's just very important to have those transferable skills and kind of move on and be able to move up in your organization or get into an organization. So thank you both for your insight. I know Andy mentioned to me that he'd like to really share on this slide. So Andy, if you'd like to give us your insight, not only for this slide, but any slides that come up.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Monica. And this is just from experience directly, along with Guillermo Aviles that's on the call with us right now. We both worked with a lot of the different types of employment statistics that are being utilized down here in the South Texas region. So one of the things that's very important to note specifically here, and I see that it says 12% earning potential growth through 2028 from the Center of Legal Studies, which I'm sure that that Lisa may be able to chime in on that. But as it pertains to the Lower Rio Grande Valley and people located in the valley, just to note that the Lower Rio Grande Valley Workforce Solutions has already identified a pressing need for paralegals. So if you don't know this, they're actually paralegals and legal assistants are actually noted as one of the top target occupations inside of their target occupation list, at least as of 2019, coming into 2020 and 2021. So it's showing that there's a lot of job growth even regionally. So this looks like a great trade or a skill set to have for anybody that's planning on trying to get into those types of disciplines. And they have more information available on that as well. And I actually remember even reading a study from the University of Texas at Austin pertaining this paralegal growth as well. So for anybody that might be interested in even attending online directly through UTRGV, and in the hopes of maybe working directly here or working up a little further up north, the University of Texas actually ran a study on paralegal jobs out in the Austin-based area. And it was primarily focused on the aspect of identifying the job needs for paralegals during COVID-19, actually. So it's a very, very recent study. And they even saw that despite COVID-19, there was actually over 700 jobs that were being requested out there in the UT Austin area during the 2020 period when COVID-19 was present, which beat even the 2019 previous period, which was under 700 job postings. So it looks as if the industry, at least from perspectives like that, it seems like a robust industry that doesn't seem to be affected very much by these types of concerns out there in the market right now. And that has a lot to do with the types of indispensable skill sets that these types of programs provide. Research, building memorandums like Ms. Navarro and Lisa were saying, those are some of the critical skill sets that are very valuable to pick up, and it shows out in the market right now that those are valuable skills. That's all that I have to say on that note.
Thank you. And I know that our next slide kind of elaborates a little bit on the different salaries in the different aspects of this particular position or career. So if anybody would like to chime in on this specific slide, if not, it is a great reference for anybody to kind of come back into this particular moment in the live or in our recorded video in the future and just kind of see what your career outlook is, what it could be. So does anybody have anything to mention?
The only thing I would mention is that salary is going to vary, obviously, based on experience, but the growth potential within the role of a paralegal is phenomenal. It just depends on the size of the firm, and there are so many titles that go along with it. You can have paralegal 1, paralegal 2, paralegal 3 based on your years of experience. So of course, salary is going to vary. But again, I hope that every potential student sees growth potential and just sees this course as the door that's opening to a lot of different opportunities in the future. And of course, as I mentioned, I will always be an asset to you when it comes to helping you write a cover letter or reviewing your resume or going over interviewing skills. I'm there to assist you with that, and beyond just the course. You know, I get emails from students years later that say, "Oh, you know, I took your course in 2015, and this is what I'm doing now." And it's like, wow, that's amazing. And you know, I did this first, and then I went into work with this firm or whatnot. I've had students who become board certified paralegals for the state. I actually have a former student who got employed where I work, and so she's one of our legal assistants now, and she actually started off in a more administrative role, and now she's going to go on to the next level, hopefully here soon as a paralegal, as a legal assistant. So there's always room for growth, and again, salary is going to vary. And I always tell students, while we love to have our students stay here in the Valley and grow here locally, this is a certificate you can take with you anywhere. So it's not something that's just, you know, a local thing. You can go off to other places and whatever the future holds for you, that will always be your certificate that you can, of course, advocate and share with potential employers. So it goes beyond just here, but of course, we would like you to stay here.
Great comments, Ms. Navarro. One thing that I wanted to mention is I know that yesterday we spoke with Dr. Garza, who's an HR expert in our region, and definitely one of the figures that is definitely leading the industry in the Valley. And he was talking about the amount of legislation that has taken place as it pertains to labor laws in specific. And I can only imagine, you know, he was mentioning that in the last 6 months, there's been more changes to law as it pertains specifically to like family laws, et cetera, and leave. And he mentioned a couple of legislation and how in the matter of there hadn't been such drastic changes in over 30 years. So we can just imagine just all of this new legislation and how it's going to correlate with the increase in the positions as a paralegal, or like Ms. Navarro mentioned, whatever title it is, paralegal 1, 2, 3, et cetera, et cetera. But Dr. Garza did echo and did mention the importance of that. As a matter of fact, he mentioned as an HR expert that he himself went back and wanted to learn law. He was specifically in talent and providing talent for the university and on a private session. But he said he wanted to go back and learn the foundations about labor law. And I think it's labor law is something that's on demand anywhere that you go. And sometimes businesses are one lawsuit away from going bankrupt, and paralegals, that's when they come in for sure. So thank you for what you do, Ms. Navarro. We really appreciate it. We say that from the bottom of our heart, and we're happy for the audience that's hearing us that, you know, we've gotten a good feedback from our audience, and we look forward to having you. Thank you, Monica. That's it for me.
Thank you. So that kind of brings us to our next slide very nicely. As we mentioned, as Guillermo mentioned, we have been meeting, and we do have a series of these information sessions. And a very important part of this is to understand how to get to the program, how to find this information, and also how to register. So on this page, we do mention the link that you can find. I apologize. And it's bit.ly/UTRGV paralegal. And we'll kind of walk you through these steps in a bit. But I did notice that a comment came in, or a question. So I'd like to give that to Andy. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This comment is from Miss Julia Lasso. And she's asking, for full-time students, are there any programs that can assist with paying for the program? Can we use financial aid for the program? So can you go ahead and give her some insight?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Monica, and thank you very much for that question, Julia. It's a great question, and it's something that we do get quite often pertaining to our programs. So, I mean, our programs are very cost efficient. They're accelerated, so they're a little bit more feasible to purchase. But that despite that, these programs can be still out-of-pocket costs are pretty expensive, right? So as it pertains to financial aid, unfortunately, for these types of programs that are non-credit, there are no financial aid opportunities. However, one thing that we do have is we do have a private loan option available for students. So any of our courses that are above $500, you'd be able to take advantage of that private loan process. And the great thing about the private loan process is that it's incorporating a lot of vendors that organizations and educational and lenders that you would typically work with if you were going through an academic field. Like most people go through Navient and similar types of bodies. Sallie Mae is one of our more utilized type of educational lenders, which is a very popular vendor that people use for educational instances, and it's something that you can utilize as an educational cost as well. So that is an option. I can tell you the truth right now, as we go down the line and we continuously develop this program, since this program aligns with the target occupation from our local workforce solutions, for anybody that might be on unemployment or somebody that might qualify for funding through Texas Workforce Solutions and Texas Workforce Commission's eligible training provider system, they would also be able to fund your courses. Of course, that depends on their prerequisites and their requirements, but that is one of the available options there as well. So we try to make it as feasible as possible to assist. But if you have any other questions pertaining to the funding process, we have also individuals within our organization that can help break down the costs and break down the cost barriers to you to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more feasible for you to purchase this class. Thank you.
Yes, and we do have another comment. We're going to address that shortly, but I did want to go ahead and show the steps, or our course page. As Andy just mentioned, there are different options available, and if you click here, you can kind of get taken to that page and have those resources available to be able to apply for. This is also how you enroll, and I'm going to go ahead and paste the link in the chat towards the end of the session, so that way y'all can just click, bookmark it, have it ready, and if you're maybe thinking about it but you're not currently signed up for our wish list, go ahead and sign up for our wish list so you can ensure to not miss out on any information. So I am going to bring up another question that was brought up by Miss Laura Canales Yambe, and she asks, do you have to have prior legal work experience or knowledge to successfully complete this program? And I know Miss Navarro actually mentioned that she'd like to comment on this, so here you are.
Yes, you do not need to have any prior legal work experience or knowledge. So to answer that question, you do not. We've had students, as I mentioned, who are straight out of high school and they just want to see if they'd be interested in the legal field, so they do the certificate course. We have students who are already paralegals and their attorney supervisors want them to get a better understanding of the law, so they send them to this course, if you will. So with that in mind, while you do not need to have prior legal experience or knowledge, just keep in mind that you are going to be in a classroom with people from all backgrounds. And I know that can be a little intimidating, but rest assured that it's a level playing field when it comes to the course material, because nobody really knows what to expect, if you will. And I do help everyone along the way. So to answer your question, simply put, no, you do not. No matter what your background is, We've had people who've been retired and have come back or have come to take this course because they just want to learn more about the law. So feel free, whatever your background is, and even if you've been out of school for years, we have individuals like that. People who haven't been in an educational setting for 5, 10, 15 years. And I understand that can be intimidating as well. But thankfully, what I hope you consider also is that with the Zoom, maybe it won't be as intimidating or whatnot. But no matter what your exposure, your background is to the legal field, this program is designed that you can come in, that you can learn this information, and that you can succeed with it afterwards.
Thank you very much for addressing that question. So at this time, it looks like we're towards the end of our presentation. I'm going to open it up for final comments shortly from our staff. And I'd like to just mention that we have our McAllen teaching site available, as Andy mentioned earlier in this presentation. Our phone number is 956-665-2071, and our email address is continuinged@utrgv.edu. We are very responsive on all platforms, so if you'd like to send us a message, if that's easier for you, we are very responsive on our platforms through our email, our phone. That is something we take pride in. So if you have any questions beyond this session, you can also refer back to the session or call us or email us or send us a message. So I'd like to open it up to final comments from the team. If y'all have any questions, feel free to send that in. We did answer 2 questions. I don't believe I see any more. I'm going to go ahead and submit the link. And if we could start with Ms. Navarro or Lisa, if y'all would like to put your final comments in for this info session.
Do you want to start, Ms. Navarro, or do you want me to go?
You go ahead.
I just wanted to let you know that the Center for Legal Studies has been providing paralegal training since 1980. We've had more students complete our program than any other program. We've worked with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley before. The course was quite popular. The students were wonderful. Ms. Navarro has been teaching it since day one as far as the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley is concerned. She's the only instructor the school has had for this specific course. So if you have any issues or anything, if Andy can't answer anything, he'll hand you off to me or he'll come to me and get some information. But hopefully I look forward to seeing you in class soon. Have a good one. Happy Friday.
Just to kind of piggyback off that, yes, I've been there since day one, and it has been a very rewarding experience as an educator because I have seen students come in on day one very nervous, scared, not really sure what to expect, and by week 12 they just are amazed at what they've learned, and I'm very happy to help. Yes, I am an attorney. Yes, my schedule is crazy as an attorney. I am a mother of 2 children, but I love education and I love helping others in the realm of education. I come from a long line of educators. And so I always know that it is my job and my responsibility and my blessing in a way to be able to help you. So I invite you, if you're interested, to give it a try. You're going to get, I want to make this very clear since I will be the one in the course, you're going to get out of this course what you want to get out of it. There will be plenty of resources made available to you. And so it's not, I want you to understand that so that way you know that basically the possibilities are endless. It's just a matter of whether or not you take that initiative to say, okay, I'm going to go for it. I want to learn this or this and this. I will always be here to answer your questions. We work together, moving along in the course, and I'm just really excited. It's been a couple of years. I think it's been at least 1 year since UTRGV has offered this class. So we're kind of coming back into it. We're coming back after a very crazy 2020. So it's rejuvenating to come back to it and to give it another shot here in the Valley. And I look forward to having you guys, and let's figure out this Zoom together. And I'm sure we will succeed together. And wishing all of you very best in your academic endeavors. And I hope to see you in this course February 27th.
Thank you very much for that. So we do have a quick question, and they're similar, so I'm not going to show them on the screen. But from Andy, how often are these courses offered throughout the year? So those are about the questions. And in case they didn't catch it this spring, when's the next time they can expect it available?
Thank you. Yeah, so that's a great question, Laura, and I think it was Laura, right? And Julia as well. Yeah. So on that note, the programs we try to offer these programs every primary semester, which is the fall and the spring semesters. Since the classes are not very lengthy, but we try to stay away from the summer areas. So it'll typically be in the fall or spring semester. So if we do hold another class, it will likely be in the spring 2021 semester. I'm sorry, the fall 2021 semester. Forgot we're in spring right now, right? So the fall 2021 semester around September, August area for those unfamiliar. So that will be when that will be the next course occurs. So like I said, and then just note one thing that Monica did mention in the previous slide is that if you do want to be placed on a wish list, we do have a wish list for the class. So if we don't have a specific date for you at the moment, we will be able to get you a date as long as you're on that wish list. And it's a simple name, email, phone number, and then just mention that you're interested in the paralegal program, and you'll actually get an email from us stating the next date that's open for registration. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I know Ms. Navarro had something to mention.
Yes, just to give you an idea, so this one starts in February and it ends late May. Generally, in the past, we've had another session that starts around September, maybe early to mid-September, and would finish either early or early December, more or less. So generally, it's 2 times a year. And I think there was a question about, do we have to be a UTRGV student? No, you do not. So that is my understanding, at least in the past. I know I don't work directly for UTRGV, but my understanding is you do not have to be a UTRGV student in order to take part in this class or enroll in this class.
Definitely. And I know we're rolling up on the hour here. So I do want to just mention thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate both the insight and our comments and the engagement. If you have any other further questions, definitely contact us. And I know that we have Guillermo and Andy, if y'all want to do quick final thoughts, that way we can close out this live for those that are on their way back to work.
I just want to say thank you, Monica, for hosting us and for allowing us to share this platform. Ms. Conway Navarro, thank you for everything that you do for our students. I definitely, for Continuing Ed, we definitely appreciate the work that you do. Andy and Lisa, I know that you guys have been working closely behind the scenes to get this going, and I know it's going to impact our community amazingly. So thank both of you for what you guys do. And again, Monica, thank you for your amazing work. And we look forward to having you guys in our program. Whatever you guys need, we mentioned it, and I think it's important to mention again, we're here to serve you, and we look forward to having you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, other than that, on my end, there's not really much to say since we covered a lot on this information session. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody again for coming in, and I want to thank the viewers for coming in and asking questions. It's very important to ask these questions because there's a lot of questions that come up. We do have the resources online available, but of course, a lot of it's open to interpretation. Some of the questions might not be fully answered pertaining to exercises and materials. So I'm glad that everybody was able to cover those topics here. But if for anything beyond this information session, like Monica has said before, make sure to contact us. We have that contact slide up that you can refer back to when this video is done, and contact us by email, phone number, or even social media, and we'll be available. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We're going to go ahead and finish off this live. Please refer back to it or contact us, as everybody's mentioned. Have a happy Friday, and we look forward to seeing you in